Bobby Torres of Frightbox Recording here. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you've probably realized by now that I don't really review amp sims all that often. And to be honest with you, the reason is because I really don't give a crap. And I honestly feel that most amp sims out there are just gimmick. And I have a few tools that I use regularly, and I generally just stick to those tools because I know them inside and out. And you really don't need a whole lot to achieve a great sounding guitar tone. But with that being said, when I heard that Dino from Fear Factory has put out his own Toneforge plugin, I had to check it out. And also, some of the features that I read about and heard about this plugin really piqued my interest. Now, I've been a massive Fear Factory fan my entire life. Between the years 1999 and 2001, I've probably seen them about a dozen times. I remember seeing Fear Factory back on Ozfest 97, Ozfest 99. I even got to meet Dino during the Ozfest 1999 touring cycle. He did an in-store signing out of a music store that I used to work at when I was a kid. Shout out to Rutherford Music Exchange, and he was a super cool guy. Not only that, I'm a huge fan of his playing and especially his guitar tone, even to this day. So I got my hands on the Toneforge DISRUPTOR plugin, and I've been messing around with it for only a few hours, and I'm quite impressed. Not only because of the tone that it's capable of producing, but because of a few unique features that I've only really seen in this plugin. Now, I'm not going to cover every single nook and cranny of this plugin. It's capable of a whole lot, but I'm going to share the key takeaways and the key features that I find to be quite impressive just within the few short hours that I have been using it within this mix. It took me almost no time to dial in a great guitar tone, and everything is self-contained within the plugin. I'm not using any external EQ or any external EQ plugins or compressor plugins, just the plugin itself. So everything that you hear in this video as far as guitar tone is concerned is coming exclusively from the DISRUPTOR plugin. So before we dive into the features, let's just take a listen to what it sounds like in a full mix. And then after we listen to it, I'll dive deep and share with you how I'm utilizing the plugin. Let's check it out. So there you have it. That's a tone that I dialed in just within a few minutes. I decided to choose a track that was really ripping and that had a lot of fast Fear Factory-esque chugging. The audio sample that you just heard is a song called Drifting Purpose by my band Voidscape. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, I will leave a link below to the band's music in this video's description. So let's dive into the plugin. Well, first, let's talk about what you've heard. All of the guitars that you just heard so far are just one left rhythm DI and one right rhythm DI. 2 guitar tracks, that's it. Just 2 performances recorded DI. I have the DISRUPTOR loaded on that stereo track and it's doing its thing. So up first, the plugin comes with a bunch of different amp models. Now I'm currently using one of Dino's models that he's calling Dielectric, that's based off the song Dielectric. That's the one that stood out to me and that I felt fit this production best. But you also have many other ones that are based off of other Fear Factory songs. Not only that, Toneforge has included the classic JCM 800 that Dino is famous for on Demanufacture. I'm actually using this amp model on the guitar solo, which I'll talk a little bit about further in the video. But for these rhythm tracks, I'm using the Dielectric preset. There's also an amp model called Martyr, which is a clean amp tone. I'm not using it in this production, but it's handy to have. So right there, you have a plethora of different tonal options to choose from right out of the gate. Now in the amp sim, you get a bunch of pedals to choose from. You get a chorus pedal, delay pedal, a lo-fi pedal, and a reverb, and of course a tube screamer / overdrive, which I'm using to boost the front end of the amp. It's very handy to have this included with the amp sim. Now, one unique feature of this amp sim is that there are multiple modes to help maximize your tone within the plugin. There's a 6-string guitar mode, a 7-string guitar mode, and an 8-string guitar mode. And also you can pick your tuning. Now I have my 7-string tuned standard, and I'm not using an 8-string or 6-string, I'm using a 7-string, so those are the settings that I've chosen, and it sounds great. There's also a built-in gate, which I am not using at this time. Now, one feature I haven't used yet, but I'm really excited to dive into in the studio is the DI matching technology that's included with this plugin. I have never seen this anywhere else. I think this might be something new. In a nutshell, what it does is it will profile a source DI track. So let's say you're playing a guitar that sounds great, has fresh strings, you like the sound of the pickups within that guitar. It will profile those DIs or that DI, and then you can use that profile on other sources down the road, and you can make your own profiles. Now, right now, I don't have a profile loaded because I'm just using the DI that's included in the session that I have here that I recorded. But what I could do is profile these DIs and then again, make other DI tracks sound more like these DIs. At least that's the way that I understand it. This is definitely gonna come in handy if I record a guitar player that comes in with a guitar that doesn't maybe sound that great, or maybe has dead strings. Really, really cool feature. You also get multiple cabs to choose from. Now, right now, I'm using it looks like it's a model of an oversized Mesa cab. There's also a model of a 2x12 Mesa cab, a Marshall cab, which I'm actually using on the lead guitar. And for me, here's the biggie. You can import your own custom impulse responses as well. I love using my own impulse responses, and having this feature is a must if I'm gonna use any amp sim, so that's really cool. There are also multiple microphones. You have an SM57, looks like a 421, a condenser mic, large diaphragm condenser mic, a ribbon mic. Right now I'm using the SM57, and you can also change the placement of that microphone and the distance, whether it's closer to the speaker or further away from the speaker. So lots of flexibility. You can also blend in a second cab, which I'm not doing. I'm only using one cab, and it's giving me all that I need. Now, the EQ section of this plugin is insanely powerful. You have two EQs. You have a digital style EQ as well as an analog Neve style EQ. In the digital style EQ, there's a resonance killer that automatically reduces any harsh resonances in your guitar tone. You have the usual filters, high pass, low pass filter, all that good stuff. And I love that there's also an analog style EQ as well, so I could tweak my tone and apply more subtle or broad picture EQ moves without looking at a graph. Now on this tone, I'm using the analog style EQ to roll off all frequencies below 80 Hertz. And I'm also pulling down a little bit at around 180 Hertz as well. Now within the digital EQ, I'm just low passing all frequencies above around 8K-ish, but pulling out a little bit at around 165. Again, I don't even need to use any other EQ in my DAW. It's all included within this plugin. Now, if you're familiar with any of my mixes or any of my mixing videos, you know I'm a huge fan of using multiband compression on heavy guitars to tame the palm mutes. And this plugin comes with one built in, which is extremely convenient. So I don't even have to whip out my Waves C4 in this case. I have my frequency crossover set to around 117 Hertz. And it's just controlling the chugs without manipulating the rest of the frequencies within my guitar tone. It's only controlling the low end. And the amp sim also comes with a tuner and a nice mute switch here, which I always use in the studio. Now again, let me just reiterate that all of the guitar tones that you're hearing in this mix are coming completely from this plugin. I have 3 guitar tracks, a left rhythm, right rhythm, and also a guitar solo. Now let's take a listen to the guitar solo and talk more about what's going on in this instance of the Disruptor plugin. Now I decided to change up the tone a little to help create contrast between the rhythm guitars and the lead guitars. And for the guitar solo, I'm actually using Dino's JCM 800 100 model, which is the replica setting within the Disruptor plugin, which I'm thinking is based off of Demanufacture, one of my favorite guitar tones of all time. So we have the typical Marshall settings here. I have the power amp set to tube instead of solid state. I've also decided to go with a Marshall style cab for the guitar solo. And I've also placed the SM57 a little further away from the center of the cone to create a darker tone. Still using that overdrive pedal, but I've decided to juice it up and create some interest here with some more effects. Let's hear the guitar solo in solo. So not only do you have pedals that you could stick before the amp, you also have some post effects here. I have a little bit of a subtle chorus happening as well as a delay. So again, you could place your pedals before the amp or in the effects loop, so to speak. And that's what I'm doing here. All I'm using to create these guitar tones are just these two instances of the Disruptor plugin. No other EQs, no other compressors or saturators, nothing. Just this plugin. So let's hear that solo once more within context. So there you have it. That is the new Disruptor plugin by Toneforge. Again, normally I don't really review amp sims on this channel because, to be honest with you, I'm kind of overwhelmed by all of the different options that exist. And most of the ones that I hear out there, I'm kind of underwhelmed by. But certain features within this plugin, I really could see myself using. I'm excited to try out that DI match technology. And I love that I don't need any other plugins to use in conjunction with this plugin. I have an inbuilt multi-band compressor that's taking care of just the low end, which is something I do in the mix anyway. Multiple cabs to choose from, multiple mics to choose from, multiple killer heavy guitar tones, as well as a cleaner guitar tone. I also like that the selection of stomp boxes are straightforward and are not overstuffed with a bunch of crap that I would never use in a million years. Just utilitarian style tools like a chorus delay, a lo-fi style stomp box, of course an overdrive, which I absolutely need, and a reverb stomp box. Looks like everything I need and nothing I don't. Now, if you're interested in the Disruptor plugin, you could try it out for 14 days for absolutely free. Just visit the Toneforge website and it's all yours. Now, if you're interested in actually purchasing the plugin, there is a link below that I've included for you to get $40 off the plugin. That discount will be valid through May 31st, 2023. If you're a fan of these types of guitar tones, that super crisp, super clean style overdriven tone where you can hear every single little pick attack, I highly recommend giving the Disruptor a try. Again, I'm not really an amp sim guy. I do use amp sims every day. I'm rarely wowed by the ones that I've tried, but this one is killer. Now, if you're using amp sims in your home studio, you have to realize that so much of your tone comes from the quality of the impulse response that you're using. And because of this, I'm giving you direct access right now for absolutely free to my guitar impulse response Octapack. The IR pack comes with 4 different microphones and 2 placements per microphone. They're all captures of my favorite oversized Mesa Boogie cabinet out of my studio. The Frightbox Recording Impulse Response Octapack is absolutely free right now. You could have direct access by clicking the link below in this video's description. So shout out to Toneforge for allowing me to try this plugin. I love it and I cannot wait to use it in the studio with my future projects. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to click that little bell icon so you can be notified every single time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things metal and rock production. Until next time, happy guitar recording.